Welcome to Tulip Flower Sketchbook study page. I took a reference photo of one tulip head but in different angles. In the Photoshop I placed these three flower heads on one page, but as I looked in real life in my sketchbook I noticed that my composition isn't working. I cut it and move around the flower heads until I find it visually appealing. The importance of working with your composition longer in the beginning is very important. Now I transfer my line drawing to my sketchbook page, applying graphite on the other side and transferring with mechanical pencil, slightly pushing. Now the graphite marks are visible on the other side. The second flower head the same. And the third flower head. After transferring, I'm going over again with a lighter pencil and with an elastic eraser removing the excess amount of graphite off the paper. As this is sketch, I'm not so worried about graphite marks, but still I want to look it neat. Applying circles for pigments that I will be using in this sketchbook study page, starting with lemon yellow, permanent rose, manganese violet, Perylene Violet, ultramarine blue. Writing pigment names, so after a while I can remember the pigments that I was using. Taking indigo. I will also use Sennelier Red. All the preparation work is done, watercolor mixes are ready. We can start painting. Starting first flower head, applying water, a very small layer of water. Be sure that your water is clean after mixing watercolors, and with round synthetic brush, starting with manganese violet and permanent rose with the manganese violet touch to the middle upper part, adding a little bit of Sennelier Red to the shadow part, which is on the right of this petal, and with transparent amount of watercolors I'm applying this first petal. I'm not going straight with super dark and saturated watercolor mixes, building layers gradually with transparent watercolor layers. And with round synthetic brush I'm moving watercolors while the surface underneath is slightly moist. Applying fine brushstrokes, and tulips are a great subject for practicing fine brushstrokes. If you are struggling with fine brushstrokes, then this is the subject you need to try. Tulips are amazing, and this is sketchbook. You can, for example, use for different types of study the sketchbook. For example, I am using to study different angles of tulips. You can use sketchbook for practicing fine brushstrokes or just to capture the right watercolor mixes. And the finished result is also up to you. You want to have a super detailed painting, or you are fine with just first layer to capture watercolor mixes, or more detailed because you want to practice fine brushstrokes. The sketchbook study page is up to you. You can express yourself as you wish. I waited for the flower head to be completely dry, and with an eraser removing outer edge lines that are still visible. You can do that, you can not do that, it's up to you. This is a sketchbook, really your choice. You can even, if you like, outline with the black marker. That is also possible. Maybe you like that kind of approach for your realistic painting. It is also a possibility. There are artists that are applying dark edge lines, outlines around composition, painting, subjects. Explore. This is the place where you are exploring, where you are testing different approach, styles, color mixes. Eventually you will find through sketchbooks your artistic style, your own style. Full tutorial is available on my Patreon page. Link is down below. Also in the video I mentioned link to my Patreon. This sketchbook study page is almost 1.5 hours long for all 3 flower heads, from the starting till finishing touches of painting. While you're watching this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you find it helpful, consider subscribing to my channel. New videos and tutorials coming out every week. And the final flower head for this sketchbook study page, it is turned to the other side, slightly other direction, and the white part on the bottom of the flower is much bigger because of the angle. Take a closer look and notice that this will be slightly different angle and slightly different also dividing sections of white, violet and pink. That's why I wanted to make this study in one flower head, but with different angles, to see and to think how to apply each color. Starting with water layer and violet, but for now I need to put violet a bit higher than the first one, than the first flower head was having. But the approach of applying watercolors layers is the same. Only difference is angle, where are the shadows, how to deal with the white color, white area. Permanent rose on the left side of this petal because it is more in the light area. The Sennelier Red was on the right side, which is more in the shadow area. And leaving small gap on the upper side for the white edge. Pushing watercolors while the surface is wet and carefully blending together with manganese violet. Adding more manganese violet with finer brush while the surface is still a little bit wet and moist. Pushing watercolors with fine brush strokes towards the lightest part, the white area, and smoothing, so I have a smooth transitions from manganese violet to the white area. Now all 3 flower heads are done, and I can add some final touches, maybe more contrast in some area, maybe make some shadow area even darker. This is the final touches, working on the whole composition in the sketchbook study page, comparing now not just in one flower head petals, but I'm comparing more each flower head with another, of course looking at reference always till the very end, and finishing up this sketchbook study page. I'm really happy with the result. This was an amazing opportunity to learn more about tulips. Tulips are a wonderful subject to work with, to learn from, and beautiful. Enter to my sketchbook to see, also to show someone, explain about tulips, about watercolor mixes, and painting white subjects together with different colors. It was also a nice opportunity to try and to learn from this study. Hope you also tried this sketchbook study page of tulips and enjoyed the process, also learned something new. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next tutorials. Bye bye!